Hey guys, and welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another war video, and today D69 is going to be taking on Apoco. If the video is going to start playing. There we go. So yeah, this is Apoco. This is an alliance that we faced last season. I think it was actually the first war of last season, and we absolutely destroyed them. I think the final score was like 8-22, or I think it was above 25 actually. Like, it was not close. We absolutely decimated this alliance, and we expected to win this war going in. So they actually did place a Doom boss with who's actually this is the first Doom boss we've seen all season, by the way. But they placed him with the link from Hazard Shift, so I'm going to be taking this with Ghost. This is actually going to be the last time I ever use my 5-star Ghost in war, and that you guys know what the reason for that is. And I'm going to be awakening my 6-star rank 3 Ghost at the end of the season, or rather a week after the end of the season when the feature crystal comes out. But yes, we're going up against this Tigra on the first node, and this is the unblockable node. And I did a lot of duels, and I decided that my strategy was to dash back for one time at the start of the fight. But I'm actually pretty comfortable against Tigra going for the dash back intercept. So right there, I dashed back one too many times, so you can actually counter her medium completely and very easily doing it like that. So there, she goes unblockable, and we're going to go in. We're going to go for a little bit of a long combo here and throw off this L2. I am running full suicide, so I'm going to phase off the recoil and kill with an L3. But that's pretty much a perfect fight. I think they're Tigra's kind of weird because her mediums, she has the double mediums, which means if you dash back properly, you dex it properly, you can counter it with a light attack, or medium attack's probably fine. But I've always felt weird when I do it against her specifically. So yeah, I did throw on tech boost, and that's just because we have to win one of the last two wars of the season. We don't have to win both, just one of them. This is a pretty weak opponent, so we figured that we'd be able to beat them. So I did boost up pretty big, and the tech boosts are part of that. So this is going to be an Elsa Bloodstone on Masochism, and you guys are going to notice that I parry in this fight. Normally, when you're playing Ghost, you do not want to parry, but this person, Ant Fighter, they placed a 6-star rank 3 thing on Powerful from Afar Kinetic Transference, and what I did is, is when I was planning this, I assigned someone who had both Warlock and Quake, and the idea that if this person had willpower placed defense, they'd be using Warlock, but if they didn't, they'd be using Quake for that fight, because they left the path 8 link up, so you can take that linked with Warlock, and that's probably the best strategy. And yeah, of course, normally you would never do that. You would never parry because you can just bypass Masochism, but I lost a total of 1% health, and I gained very valuable intel. So I can't really be mad about that. And this is a 565 Mole Man on the Fury node, so there isn't really too much about this. So we're going to just go in. He only ever gets one Fury the whole fight, and he's already dead. So that was a very, very clean fight. You see, I didn't even have to use a single potion between those 3 fights. And actually, my next 3 fights, I lost the recording. So you see, I'm going forward. It's going to go straight to the boss. I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you the next all the fights I took and explain how they went. So you'll see on path 3 right here, we have on path 3 right there, we have a Colossus on the first node, Chitinous Thorns, or Chitinous Thorns, or Chitinous, I don't know how it's pronounced. And I actually used a completely different strategy than when I took it before. What I was doing is I was making all of my attacks do damage. So every single opening, I would do a phase parry. So I phase the first hit and parry the second to remove Stubborn and to also give me the increased power. And then I would just throw off L3s only, and I actually ended the fight with about 95% health, which is pretty good. The only other damage I received was from a special attack that I thought would kill, actually left him at 2% health, and then the damage I ate were from the bleeds that triggered mid-special attack that you can't prevent until after the special's over. And then we went up, and there is a... right here, there's a 565 Korg on Power Focus 1, Unblockable Special 1, and then there's also that node where you can't throw the same special twice in a row. I went in with Ghost, I went in with Tech Boost because I took this at the same time that I was taking Doom. We had the people that were taking Killmonger and Man-Thing move first, and then I had Run come up and take Emma. I went and took Korg, and then I had Dez come clear Vision with his Doom. And then, yeah, we were just able to all do it together. So I did it on the same boost, and I had a full tech boost, full everything that you're going to see for this Doom fight. And basically the way it went is I got all my light intercepts, and then I parried. I got all my light intercepts to remove all the rock sacks pretty easily, and then I parried, threw off one L2, chained it into a second L2, and then I used my phase to eat up all of the passive damage from the node where you can't throw the same special twice in a row. The timing actually lines up perfectly so that you don't take any damage if you chain L2s, so that's actually a pretty safe strategy as long as you're still phasing. And then we threw one final L2 because it did take three L2s to kill this guy, and then he went down, so that was pretty nice. So now let's go into the boss. So yeah, this is a linked 345, and this person, Starlord, this guy placed 2 mutants, a tech champion, and 2 mystics. So what I did is I intentionally scheduled someone to fight this guy's magic that he placed on one of the earlier nodes. Really easy fight. But when I scheduled the fight, I made sure to reach out to this guy, and I said, this is very important. I need you to record fight against magic, and I need you to at least once in the fight intentionally trigger dexterity and then lose the dexterity because I need to check Mystic Dispersion. So I did check Mystic Dispersion. I knew going into this fight that this guy would have 5 out of 5 Mystic Dispersion. As you can see, the power gain is going to become quite significant later in the fight. But yeah. It's going good so far. We got our first L2 off. We're still at decent health. So right here, I wanted to bait out an L1 first. And then this is going to push us to an L2. But right there, I was just a half a second late on the L1. And then we're going to go in here. So we're already starting at a bit of a disadvantage. And I know this L3 is not going to do any damage. The point of this L3 was not to do damage. It's not that the point was to not do damage, but it was not the point to do damage. Different things sound the same. And now we're going to be good evading the specials for the rest of the fight. So right now I'm at 40%, he's at 75. Obviously not what you want to be doing here. But I accidentally pushed him to an L2, and I'm pretty confident fully evading his L2, so we evade that quite easily. And then here we're just trying to gain power, so I'm going to hit a parry here. A parry still does 2,400 damage. That's fun. So we throw off an L2 here. We're going to not phase off the recoil to try to chain an L2, and I did chain the L2, except for the fact that he was indestructible because I dexed by accident. I thought I was pretty confident of intercepting with an L2. Apparently I'm not. So here we're going to go up for another L2. We only get 1 debuff on us, unfortunately. And then the crit fails. I was expecting that L2 to kill, even with only 1 Fury, and then we die. Because I was late evading the L2. I was so mad. Because if you don't know, Doom actually has a base chance to resist critical attacks, whether they're guaranteed or not. He just reduces it. I think it's by 30 or 40%, one of the two. And that also turns a guaranteed crit from a 100% chance to crit into like a 70% chance. And unfortunately, that was the worst possible moment because that L2, I guarantee, I know for a fact, I looked at it, it would have killed him. Unfortunate. What can you do about that? So here we're going to heal up Ghost. You see I did use up all my items in this war, but I'm not too concerned about that. We still have the L1 boost we used before, and all I need to do is do a couple phases. He's barely at like a fifth of a bar power, and then this 1L2 is going to easily kill him in the first hit. Like, the first hit. Imagine if that hit a crit. So unfortunately, we're going to pick up the death there, and the only reason I died is because I failed to dexterity his L1 at the beginning of the fight. If I had done that, then I would have been able to eat the block damage from his third L2 there, and I would have survived with that final special 2 that you guys saw in the last fight. So now let's go on to the results, and shockingly, these guys beat us. So let's take a look at their deaths. 7 deaths. How do you go from dying 25 times against a defense, and that defense gets better? Since we last faced them, our prestige has gone up by about 500, probably a little more than that. How do you face a better defense? Maybe they have better attackers. How do you face a better defense and die less than 1/3 the amount they died? I don't know. I don't know how they did it, but they were definitely legit. There is nothing wrong with what they did. They had a very, very good war against us, and they actually needed to win their last war to clinch. They're in the same situation as us, so they needed to win one of their last 2 wars to clinch Masters, and they did it. So congratulations to them. They really deserve the win. It was completely legit. They had all the best counters for every fight. I can't really blame us. We had a decent war. 11 deaths is a little bit much for us. We usually have like 8 to 9 every war. But yeah, that's going to be it for the war. But now that we lost that war, that means we have to win the last war if we want to make Masters. But that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.